Since Russian President Vladimir Putin announced that Russia had launched a special operation to defend the People's Republics of Donetsk and Luhansk from Ukrainian military forces, we've seen signs and potentials of the war in Ukraine threatening to spread into the Middle East and the rest of the world. And what's happening out there right now should concern all of us. Turkey is at the center of both the Ukrainian and Syrian conflicts, immediately to the north and the south of it. By arming NATO-backed terrorists in Syria and by repeatedly invading Syria itself to prevent US-backed Syrian Kurdish nationalist militias from establishing a state on its border, Turkey has played a bloody role in the Syrian war. Now united with its NATO allies, Turkey has condemned Russia's decision to recognize Donetsk and Luhansk, as well as condemned Putin's special operations in Ukraine. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said his government found Russia's military operation against Ukraine unacceptable and rejected it, adding that he considers this move contrary to international law, a blow to peace, tranquility and stability in the region. However, a huge controversy is tearing apart Erdogan's policy. Turkey supports NATO's policy in Ukraine and the alliance's intensifying military campaign against Russia by supplying Kiev with critically armed Bayraktar TB2 drones. Turkey signed a military alliance with Ukraine in 2020. During Erdogan's visit to Kiev in early February, a free trade agreement was signed, as well as a Turkish-Ukrainian military deal to jointly produce Bayraktar unmanned aerial vehicles. However, Turkey also has important military and economic ties with Russia. Over US objections, it purchased S-400 air defense systems from the Kremlin. About a third of the natural gas consumed by Turks comes from Russia through direct pipelines. Russia is also building the Akiu nuclear power plant in the southern city of Mersin. Turkey also buys more than 60% of its wheat from Russia. And earlier this week, Erdogan said he can't give up one or the other because Turkey has political, military and economic relations with Russia, but also at the same time they have political, military and economic relations with Ukraine. However, whatever Erdogan says, just let it go over your head, because let's be honest, Turkey is still part of the NATO military campaign against Russia and supports Kiev in this conflict. It was only Thursday Ukrainian ambassador to Ankara, Vasily Bodnar, appealed to the Turkish people and the Turkish authorities to help Ukraine, calling for the closure of airspace, closing the passage through the Bosphorus and the Dardanelles for Russian warships. An official request has been sent to the Turkish side. However, Turkey has not made a decision to close the Dardanelles and Bosphorus Straits to Russian ships. The Montreux Convention of 1936 gives Turkey control over the Bosphorus and Dardanelles and the passage of ships between the Mediterranean and Black Sea. If Turks decide to close it, Russia would see this as a hostile sign and make moves against Turkey, but these moves will probably happen in Syria. However, closing the strait is not easy, as Turkey cannot consider Russia an enemy for the time being. These events are extremely serious. A conflict could flare up if Turkey closes the straits to Russian ships or clashes with Russian troops in Syria or the Black Sea. Also, it could lead to an all-out war between the NATO alliance and Russia, in accordance with Article 5 of NATO's founding treaty, which states that an armed attack on one or more parties will be considered an attack on all. You see folks, the conflict could escalate not just in Europe, but also the Middle East and the entire world. NATO powers are provoking a war that threatens the entire planet, and they know this quite well. The tensions we have today is because of NATO. This satanic alliance has increased tensions everywhere due to its 30 years of uninterrupted imperialist wars in the Middle East and Central Asia, and its reckless encirclement of Russia, made possible by the collapse of the Soviet Union. NATO's imperialist wars have resulted in millions of deaths and injuries in Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya and Syria, and has continuously increased the risk of another world war. They know this very well, and that's probably what they're after, Armageddon, as US Lieutenant General Eric Kurella, appointed to head the Central Command overseeing operations in the Middle East, told the Senate Armed Services Committee that the Russian-Ukrainian conflict could spread to Syria. My friends, let's pray for peace. Let's pray for the breakup and total annihilation of the NATO alliance. Over and out.